Hey everyone, Felipe here. Welcome to another Tower Saviors GNN review video. This week we have very exciting news. We have the power release of the Starburst Pulses series. And honestly, as soon as I saw this splash art, I had two thoughts. My first thought was, oh my god, Andromeda fireworks teams are coming back. And two, Shadows of Snake Spirit. That's all I thought. So I am really excited for these power release news, as well as the new transmigration that we're going to get, and a new character, Count Capriccio Lilith. So, without further ado, let's get started with this GNN, because I am excited to see what this power release is going to do, and how we're going to get the fireworks team, as well as the going now that they have a update and buffs to their leader and active skills. So, uh, yeah, so we have the power release of the Starburst Pulses, have a new transmigration, which it's been a while since we got in a new one, so this is going to be pretty interesting for us to check out. Um, Hopefully it's not too hard, but we'll see. Um, we'll see how it goes. Use Nebula Wreath to enter the transmigration, so you do need to use Nebula Wreaths to enter the transmigration of memories. And monsters hidden in the dungeon. Da, 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 da. You will need memory balls to increase your team HP to continue the transmigration of memories. There will be 80 waves. Oh wow. Okay. Oh, but there are save points. So, okay, it is 80 waves, but if you die, you can revive at certain checkpoints, which is pretty good because that means you don't have to go from 0 to 80 in one shot. And from the looks of it, you actually have to die in order to increase your team HP to enhance your team with memory balls. And um, but yeah, so each team is allowed to equip 8 memory balls at the most, and it enhances team HP and also gives you turning skills and other special. All equipped memory balls will disappear after each challenge of the floor, so make sure you equip the right memory balls in order to um, beat the stage successfully, apparently. Wow, that this seems a little bit complicated. You can get Nebula Reads and Memory Balls each day, and you will be rewarded with Memory Balls and Memory Fragments when you clear specific waves in Transmigration of Memories. With the Memory Fragments, you can change the items for valuable rewards such as the new character Capriccio Lilith, which probably this art right here, and Transmigration of Memories S1 Medal. Oh wow, this is... So actually, scratch that. I thought this was going to be like previous transmigrations where it is a 1 to 50 or 1 to 40 stage that gives you a pretty good character. This seems like a completely new mechanic, and given that there is an S1 medal, which stands probably for Season 1, this is going to be a recurring event coming back. So I think it is going to be good for us to familiarize ourselves with this event because chances are that it will be coming back in the near future with etc. So the way it sounds like it's every day you get Nebula reads, which means that you can only enter the stage a certain amount of times per day, which they used to implement that before with entry limits. Now they're adding items to it, so not sure about. Actually, no, you know what? I like this better because for entry limits, if you couldn't play one day, you would lose that. You would lose that attempt. However, for example, if you have work today and you claim your Nebula reads but don't use them, you could potentially use them tomorrow to enter the stage. So I like this better actually. But yeah, then memory balls are also given to you, but they disappear at the end of the challenge, which means that if you accidentally die, you lose out on those memory balls, um, which depending on the skills that you may infuse on those memory balls, may be harder for you to clear the event and you may have a harder time. I don't know. I'll have to try that out, but there's also the chance that you want to save some memory balls because you have a limit of 8. So the more you have, the more you can add to your team, and then the further through the stage you can get to. So this sounds like a very complicated event. We'll see how it goes. I will make a guide when it comes out tomorrow, and we'll take a look at it and see how it plays. Um, the complexity of it is making me a little bit worried, but maybe I am worried for nothing, so we'll see how that goes. For the character that you can claim from this event, Gam Capricious Lilith, we have the following attributes. It is a Dark Machina card with a the following leader skill, which doesn't look that great. So attack times 8, team attack times 1.5 for 3 or more attributes. Doesn't look like there's a team skill, so we'll just skip that that leader skill. Don't use her as a leader. He does have dual active skills though, which is going to make it really good as a member because more flexibility, more options, better team building, etc. etc. For the first active skill, it is a CD10, which is a pretty long skill in my opinion. Turn all runestones into enchanted Machina runes. For 2 rounds, absorb the first attack and damage received from boss skills, deducting them. Absorb the first attack and damage received from boss skills that deduct a specific percentage, like Bloody Sight, etc. And you launch a dark counterattack as much as 1000 times the absorbed attack to the enemy, regardless of defense and enchanted runestone shield. This is actually a really, really good skill. It does bypass tumbler shields, so if you remember or if you go back and look at videos of Meliodas, his active skill also absorbs and launches a counterattack. However, Meliodas is only a one turn thing, I believe, but this is a 2 rounds of absorbing enemy's attack, which means that you are not dying for 2 rounds and you're also dealing insane amounts of damage to the enemy based on their attack. And given how a lot of enemies nowadays have so much attack, it might actually mean that you can survive and kill the enemy with their own. So that's pretty good. 10 is still a little bit long in my opinion, but for such a good skill, uh, or this skill type, I think that is pretty standard. Then the second active skill is shorter cooldown, which is pretty nice. CD6 is a really nice short cooldown. Increases your fuel but say by 75%, which is huge. This allows you to, especially if you have a card or a leader that allows you to use your, it allows you to have your active skills ready from the get-go. You are able to give 75% fuel to all your machinas, and that is amazing. It lowers the time required for the ramp up and allows you to reach your max multiplier faster. Always pretty good. If the character has 100% fuel after skill activation, character skill cooldown -1, which is pretty nice. However, if the leader is Ground Capricious Lilith or the first Synthetic Soul Lilith, damage of Machinas will be dealt of anti-runestone shield and enemy and big damage. That is crazy. And that is an amazing support for Lilith. Machina Lilith is. Oh, here's the thing though. Lilith, her damage output is being overshadowed by newer cards nowadays. But this. Here's the thing though. Lilith already brings you to 100% fuel, so the first effect doesn't matter on a Lilith. The second effect gives you a basically a CD5 skill instead of a CD6 skill, and basically allows you to break whatever with Lilith leader skill. The thing is, you're not getting any multipliers, so given how enemies are getting more tanky and tanky, yes, you can ignore anti-runestone shield, and yes, you can ignore enemy-specific damage reducing the resistance, but if you don't have the damage output, it might not be that great. Honestly, if this card had came out like a year ago, it would have been or like when Lilith came out, it would have been so good. Nowadays, you have to slot in a couple buffers to make Lilith relevant, but honestly, I still think this is a very good support for Lilith because of anti-runestone shield ignore and enemy specific damage resistance, which are two of, in my opinion, more annoying shields to deal with in current meta. So honestly, this is a good card. Um, Hopefully, transmigration is not too hard so that we can all get a copy of it. But yeah, next we have another mini game. Let's hope it's not like the freaking dodge the stuff because that one made me angry. So yeah, let's hope it's not like that mini game. The dodging, the pencil dodging, meteor dodging thing, that one made me angry, and let's hope this was better. But yeah, there will be 10 levels in the mini game. A level will be open each day. A new ability will be unlocked every day, and there will be 4 abilities every day. Da da da. Yeah, new mini game. If you enter the mini game, you can enter the web page. Oh, it's like a uh, web page, and you can play the game. Move the character to the magic circle. You have to find memory bubbles. Da da da. There will be a red button at each level. By stepping on it, you will receive a challenge mission. Collect all red coins. Da 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 da. 0 or 20. Okay. So basically, if you and it's just a fun mini game, and then it will give you 200 spirit orbs, which you can use to ascend your characters, and that is pretty good. Free stuff. But yeah, realm exploration, breaking away from the previous nightmares. Uh, yeah, we have new realm explorations. Oh god, we haven't been touched on the Starburst Pulse's power release yet. Oof, okay. But yeah, new realm exploration with a new character, which is going to be a water demon. Madame Nightmare. That is a very creative name. Anyways, hypnotize all enemies to inactivate them for 2 rounds. Damage dealt to hypnotized enemies times 1.5. For 2 rounds, recover 50% of your HP each round. Dissolving Runestone. At CD7, this skill is a little bit slow, but hypnotizing enemies and inactivate them for 2 rounds is going to be pretty good because it gives you 2 rounds to hit the enemy. Also, the fact that it is its own status condition, different from Ignite and different from Frozen or Petrified, means that there is a chance that Madhead will include a enemy skill that will only allow you to deal damage if the enemy is hypnotized. So I have learned that any status condition, if it's new, it is worth getting because you never know when you need a card that hypnotizes enemies. So, this card is pretty good. Get at least one copy in your inventory just in case for that one moment that Madhead includes a if the enemy is not hypnotized, your damage is reduced by 90%. So, definitely a good card to have in your back pocket when that moment. Next, we have another challenge mission, which is going to be Whispers of the Lunar's Love. Uh, the Earth God Blossoming Crescent Artemis will being a new challenge. I mean, it's cool that Madhead is bringing back the new skins for new characters, but it does tell me a little bit that they are running out of ideas because the newer characters are basically just retrains of older characters. For example, the transmigration card was just Lilith, another skin. We've gotten a lot of Javanors. We have what's her name? Yeah, a lot of Javanor, a lot of Himiko, a lot of Aurea, a lot of things. Especially for collectors deck, they have a lot of retrain. But yeah, not a bad thing, just a small thing I wanted to point out. But yeah, it's a good thing that they're bringing other cards back, like Lilith and also Artemis. Artemis hasn't seen a lot of light in the past few times. It's interesting that she's a Earth god, where the Greek counterpart is a Dark god, so that's going to be kind of interesting. But yeah, her active skill is a CD7 skill. Release the locked skills of the character and the members of Greek God series. After all enemies' attributes into the character's counter attributes for rounds. For 1 round, God attack increases by 1.5. Damage will be dealt regardless of trio, quartet, and quintet elemental shield. And when the enclosed areas are in play, God attack increases by 3 times additionally. This is pretty good because it allows you to have a designated God releaser or Greek God skill release. Here's the thing though, we already have plenty of God releases, especially for Dark Gods. We have Brunhilde, but honestly, based on the second effect, alter the enemy's attributes in the character's counter attribute, and the fact that it says Greek gods, and the fact that Artemis is Earth, it actually makes me think that she will be able to change attributes based on your Greek god leader. Um, so let's see actually. Team skill. Yep, there we go. I was right. Yay. Anyways, um, yeah, because of that, this is going to be a really good teammate for Greek gods, even though Greek gods have fallen out of the meta hard. So when they release a skill adjustment, I think this card will definitely be a good card to have in your inventory to slot into those teams because one, it does it releases your lock skills without having to rely on other um, unlockers that don't really do much more. It also gives you attribute change, which is pretty good. It gives you more attack for god members, also utility to break trio, quartet, and quint elemental shield. But most importantly, the big disadvantage for Greek gods right now is enclosed areas because enclosed areas prevent sky drop from the zone from being dissolved. And so because of that, your Greek god gameplay is basically blocked by these enclosed areas. And so in order to break them, you'll have to bring either chaos or a someone that increases your rolls by 3. But even then your sky drop is not going to be that much because you only have 3 rows worth of runestones. So this effect right here will definitely give you a to your attack because it gives you a times 3 attack bonus when there's enclosed areas, which allows you to potentially break those enemies easier and not die to them if you're playing a Greek god team. But like I said before, Greek gods aren't being played that much right now, so definitely good to have for when they do a skill adjustment on. Okay, we have now reached the part that I have been really excited about, which is going to be Starburst Pulse's power release. So they are splitting it into 2 batches. The first batch including Lynx, Andromeda, Perseus, and Lyra. And then Shadows of Snack Spirit, of Fucus, will be coming on part 2. So yeah, Andromeda! This is going to be fun. Let's see. Starburst Pulses and Water members attack times 8, HP and recovery times 1.8. Starburst Pulses members and Elf members times 4 additionally. That's already pretty good attack multiplier from the get. By dissolving 3 types of runestones, damage received minus 50%, and by launching attacks of 3 or more attributes, skill CDs of elves minus 1 at the end of the round. That is actually pretty good. Um, if you have an elf skill that can be activated continuously, and given how Andromeda skills allows you to launch attacks of the attributes that you dissolve, it means that this has the potential of having a very good synergy with her leader skill. For her team skill, we have Andromeda skill CD minus 5 after entering the stage. That is fine. That is stays the same. Attack bonus plus 100 for combos made. Yep. Extra 3 second movement time. Pretty good. Our runestones possess 300% the effect of L attributed runestones. Modify the runestones touch while moving to become elf runestones, which is, in my opinion, pretty good. And by dissolving elf runestones, team attack times 3. Damage received from scorching areas and death damage minus 99. Wow, okay, this is massive. This is so good. Anyways, this times 3 team attack bonus is really nice because of this previous team skill right here. You just touch them to generate elf runes, which makes the this condition super easy to hit. So basically, you will always have this times 3 team attack bonus unless the enemy does not let you generate elf runes, which is rare. But this one right here, we don't have that many cards that can passively ignore scorching areas and death damage. So this is going to be make Andromeda a really good card against those enemies. That being said, her leader skill is still a base times 8, so I give it like 2 or 3 patches before she falls out of the meta. But that's how it goes with gacha games. But yeah, this one is amazing. So this is really good in my opinion. But yeah, Years of Heartbreak, Andromeda, CD5, same thing. Starbolt Forces members attack at 1.5, which is pretty good because now you get an attack boost. Um, Damage can overpower enemies, even more attack boost. By dissolving attributed runestones, the character launches an extra attack of each attribute dissolved. Yep, that stays the same. By dissolving heart runes, character launches an extra non-attributive attack. Still stays in play until deactivation or defeated. And now you can deactivate it anytime. Also, and upon deactivation of the skill, turn all runestones into enchanted um, runestones of every single type of fixed numbers attribute. And this is going to make it really good because it if you saw my previous video on the Flowers of Pledge series, Fire Yan has this, but without the control of being or without having the freedom of deactivating it at any time. This is what she should have gotten. If you can deactivate it anytime, you have control on when to generate your fixed board. So, in my opinion, this is pretty good. Um, the only thing is that same issues that she had in the past, and one of the reasons she didn't see that much play afterwards is because um, she doesn't have shield breaking potential. She doesn't really have shield breaking potential skill or her leader skill. And in order to run a full fireworks team, you would usually, back in the day, we could afford to run 5 Andromedas, and then we have a lot of fireworks. But now that we need so much utility for newer stages, we might not be able to see a full fireworks team. But yeah, that's fine. But yeah, so Andromeda looks pretty good. I'm excited to play with her, but I do give her like 2 or 3 patches before she falls out. Anyways, for Lynx, Lynx is also a pretty good leader and pretty fun in my opinion. But yeah, when the team only has Starburst Pulses or Beast members attack times 8, attack times 3, for each type of runestone dissolve, you get um, 2 Beast runes, enchanted Dark Beast rune in the first batch, and or not first batch even. And by dissolving Beast runes, team attack increases by 5 times additionally, which is honestly pretty good because you are generating them just by dissolving runes. So that is going to be a pretty good multiplier on her skill. And for her team skill, there is yeah. So for her team skill cooldowns of Beast -5 after each, which is pretty good. Extend runestone movement time by 3 seconds. Each dark runestone drop recover 5% HP until team HP full. For each Beaststone, wait, that's a redo. Someone copy pasted that. But yeah, effect of dark runes increases by 150%. Dark and Heart runes possess the effect of runestones of the attributes of Starburst Pulses, members, and beasts in the team, which allows you to run a rainbow team now, which I think in the past Lynx was only a mono dark beast leader, if I recall, or that was the best way to play her. But this opens the ability to give you a more flexibility building your team. By dissolving 6 or more dark runestones, aka if you dissolve 3 groups of runestones in the first batch, you will be able to generate 6 runes or 3 types You generate 6 runestones, which, if you're lucky, it will form a group and give you this condition, which is good. Team attack times 5 and damage will be dealt regardless of defense. Honestly, pretty good, pretty solid. I think Lynx is also going to be play. And if you only have Starburst Pulses or Dark Beasts in the team, you'll CD of all members minus. And so I really like this power release because Lynx in the past was locked into just Beast team and also Dark Beast teams. But now I think Madhead is starting to do this thing with archetypes, where if you share the same trait, so like Yanxi, UA High School, X Family, Starburst Pulses, you get a bonus. And the fact that now they're adding these traits to their leader skills, it honestly feels really good because it gives you more flexibility. You don't have to run Mono Beast, you can run a Mono Starburst Pulses. And that's more options, more flexibility, means that Lynx plus Andromeda is a viable option, and that is really good in my opinion. But yeah, so really happy about these changes, really happy about these things. Now for her active skill, CD7 that stays the same. By tapping a runestone on the magic circle of element, that type of runestone also possesses the effect of all attributed runestones, and the first batch of runestones drop will be enchanted runestones of that type. If you didn't remember, Lynx's active skill would only generate dark runes in the first batch before. Now you have the flexibility and ability to change your first batch to whatever type of runes you want, and that is really powerful. Damage will be dealt regardless of fixed combo shield and defense, which is also really good utility. And by dissolving 20 or more runestones, Starburst Pulses members and Beast members will have an attack boost of times 2. If both the leader and ally are Starburst Pulses or Beast members, the character's skill cooldown decreases by 2, which makes this a CD5 skill, and given how powerful this skill is, that is an amazing active skill. It's an amazing active skill if you are running a Beast team or a Starburst Pulse team. But definitely Lynx is a card that I would strongly recommend to power release because her active skill is really powerful and really good for future proofing because it has shield breaking potential. It also gives you control on your first batch rune drop, which is really good for any team, including teams that come in the future. Also has skill cooldown reduction and also has times 2 attack bonus for Starburst Pulses and also Beast Team. When Starburst Pulses falls off the meta, however, this card will still be relevant because if a Mono Beast leader gets released, this card is still a good card to have. So definitely a good card to have in your inventory, in my opinion. But next we have Perseus, which also gets power released, and Lyra, which also gets power released. But they're the non-jackpot cards. Um, we do a Runestone Explosion to generate fire and heart runes. They possess the effect of each other. Gods increase their attack by 1.5, and damage will be dealt regardless of fixed combo shield. Pretty good skill. However, CD7 is really slow, so in my opinion, not really that worth it. But yeah, the strat was to leave this at skill level 11, so it's CD8. So when you play with Amaterasu, it goes to CD0. But Amaterasu also fell out of the meta, so we'll see. This card might not see that much use. And next we have Lyra, which has a CD3 skill. Gods enter and stay a hyper state for 2 rounds, which is good nowadays because it also blocks buffs like 5 round fatigue from triggering if your members are in a hyper state. Turn 4 to 7 runestones into enchanted hearts, and if there are 4 or more gods in the team, the chance of turning 7 runes greatly increases. CD3 for a bunch of heart runes is actually not that great, especially when there's no attack boost included in that. It might also get rid of certain runes that you might need if you need to break Printed Elemental Shield or Equal Combo Shield. And generally, the random nature of these types of skills and the fact that it's only a limited amount of numbers makes it a little bit That being said, the hyperstate thing might be a good thing to counter certain stages. So this card might be good to have in your back pocket just in case. But in my opinion, I don't think it's that powerful, but it might see some niche plays here and there for specific stages. But yeah, and that's the end of this GNN. And wow, that was a lot of information, a lot of announcements, and really cool things coming our way. But yeah, just to summarize everything, we have the Starburst Pulses power release, which includes Andromeda and Lynx. Andromeda has come back again, a little bit more powerful, but still struggles with her shield breaking potential. And Lynx has a really fun playstyle that is coming back, but I think her active skill was the biggest winner because it has been future proof and has the potential to be a really good member even in the future when everything Starburst Pulse's power release fall off the map. We also have a new transmigration stage with a new Lilith, which is going to be a good addition for those that play Lilith because of the active skills that she has, and specifically the second active skill that specifically buffs the black gold card Lilith. We have a new anniversary minigame, which will give you 200 spirit orbs that you can use for ascension. So make sure you do that because it's just free stuff. We also have a new realm exploration with a uh, character, Madame Nightmare, which hypnotizes enemies. And like I said before, status conditions are always good to have for that one time that Madhead decides to include status shields. We also have Artemis, which is going to be an amazing buffer for Greek teams. But right now, Greek teams are very weak, so we'll have to wait until the next Greek god skill adjustment for her to see play. But the fact that she can unlock and change attribute of the enemy to their weakness attribute, as well as ignore trio, quartet, and quintet shield, makes it really good for a Greek team. And she can also synchronize her attribute with your leader, which allows you to play it in all five Greek god teams. But yeah, so that is going to be all for this week's GNN news. I hope you enjoyed this installment, and please let me know in the comments if I missed anything or if I said anything wrong. As always, stay tuned on my YouTube channel for more Tarot Saviors content. And yeah, for now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.